Here's a book about the goose, which is not well appreciated in our culture. Konrad Lorenz is the foremost animal behaviorist in the world. Was up in the mountains studying beavers or something, and these geese came into him. Now, I'm studying the Hawaiian raven, alala, and the Hawaiian goose, the nene, because they were domesticated animals, and I'm going to try to make that clear to everybody. But if you're into geese at all, you get this. It's a wonderful book. You could get this at the library. You can get one used for $1 on Amazon or something. And wow, this is really a good way to appreciate the goose. There were several thousand died recently, and it's in the news. Anyway, not appreciated well in our culture. The Year of the Gray Lag Goose by Konrad Lorenz. He said, "This is not a scientific book. It grew out of the pleasure I take in my observation of living animals." Folks, we all have birds around us. We take them for granted. So, you know, this is a turn-on to the great world of birds. Konrad Lorenz. All right, back to business. This is program 957. 957 weeks I've served you. We're going to cover the first week in April. The month of panic, let's call it right now. You'll see why shortly. Anyway, you're going into the third of the rocky months we've been having, and I'm going to get into some of the details for you. There's a lunar eclipse Friday night. You may be sitting on it right now if you're watching the Friday night show. Yeah, the eclipse is at 14 degrees of Libra, an eclipse of the moon, and that's the trigger that sets off this month of strange, unusual, sudden happenings. Sudden happenings, everything from solar flares to glitches to panicky trips to shark bites and hornets and bees and eek, a bug, eek. It's a month of eek, a bug. In fact, it's a strangely mixed bag because Jupiter is stationing and stopping, yes. And when that happens, oh boy, you know, we laugh, we have optimism, you know, and in this case, Jupiter here is in trine to Uranus. Here's the old Uranus-Pluto square, okay? Now, Pluto is stopping on the 17th of April, right smack in the middle of April, and it'll, on either side of that, it'll flavor your month. So we have a Pluto flavor, and this eclipse squares Pluto, and so there's lots of emotional exaggeration and craziness, and you know, this is a time when people go extreme. So this is a month of extremists, and hey, eek, the bomb, no, it's a white powder, no, it's hornet in my backyard. Whatever it is, Pluto is going to rule a lot. It squares Uranus. So if the policeman misbehaves, and they will this month regularly, once a week, Uranus is there, the citizen is there with his video camera, and he catches it, and it goes, yeah. Now Jupiter stops. You know, it's in trine to Uranus, and it says, okay, we're going to be free. But Pluto up here doesn't like freedom. It squares it. It's an obstacle. So here's, you know, here's the protesters. They had 20,000 people protesting in Germany just a couple days ago. 20,000 people out on the street. What are they protesting? Turns out it was the banks. Yeah, and the money trip. And you could find lots of things that you'll feel a little alone from Uranus, and panicky and powerful, and tend to throw things with Pluto. Anyway, what I'm trying to get at is that Jupiter's trining Uranus, and everybody feels the right to be free and the right to be independent. And you know, what is that policeman telling us? We can't do this, we can't do that. You know, I call them lines and signs. You drive around and there's all these lines, and if you go over the line or you go too fast, Pluto shows up and the policeman gives you a ticket and embarrasses you and takes your money. Well, this Pluto thing is tough in the U.S. chart, and you're going to feel it here and other places in the world. So here's Uranus now, the free spirit. Here's the homeless guy. Here's the hippie. Here's the environmentalist. Here's the guy with the video camera. Here's the media. And they're feeling the trine from Jupiter and saying, we're going to speak the truth. You know, journalism is degraded here, and we're going to go back to, you know, the freedom-loving, crusading reporters we used to know. And that's the feeling from Jupiter, trining Uranus. Yes, the environmentalists are right. And so Uranus feels empowered. Yes, and you're going to feel that in a few days really strong, because the sun here is going by Uranus. Sun starts at 13 on your Friday, hits Uranus at 17. There's only 4 days off, and so you're in the Uranus zone. The sun's going by Uranus. We all want to be free and independent, tend to do different things, tend to step out of line, tend to be individualists. Yeah, it's time you know, if I want to dye my hair green, I will. Okay, do it. But wait a minute, here's Pluto, the security guard, the cop, the guy with the gun. He's in the way. So the more you act out this non-traditional activities, okay, the more you attract the attention of the hornet, the Pluto, the guy who enforces. And these, for some reason, they think, these Plutonian characters, that somebody has to stop this Aquarian stuff. Now this could be fanatics, you know, that want to stop any secular activity. You know, get rid of the godless people of Aquarius is kind of the feeling. And so the Muslim bomber decides to do shit. And there will be shit around. Eek, a bug. Eek, I stepped in dog shit. That's kind of the feeling of Pluto. It gets real strong on the 17th. Jupiter shows up earlier. Everybody has a sense of freedom and wonder, and if you're not careful, it gets right in the way of where the police are holding their march. Look out. So there's a little bit of the flavor of the month coming at you, and it's starting right away, isn't it? Yes. Jupiter. I love Jupiter. And Jupiter's stopping in trine to Uranus. Freedom, independence, new information. Wonderful stuff. You're going to have a whole month of it after the April 4th eclipse, because that eclipse sextiles Jupiter, and truth and wisdom. He comes out with lightning bolts of truth. Jove, Jupiter, shock, bang, shazam, da-da-da-da, the lawyer says, aha, now we see it clear. People say, the jury say, da-da-da-da, the professor says, Jupiter. Oh, now we see it clearly, say the students. And Jupiter throws lightning bolts of understanding. Trining Uranus, maybe people will find out what it's really like to be homeless. More on that in a little bit. Anyway, the job at hand is, I want to delineate some of these ups and downs for you over the next couple of weekends in the coming week, so you may navigate your way through this time period more ably. Might even get a little humor out of it, too. I mean, I came out of my bathroom this morning and there was a dead centipede on the floor. Eek! Anyway, here we are. If you're on a Thursday show, late Thursday night, about 9-10 o'clock, the moon shifts into Libra, and you're probably going to start feeling some of this stuff, because eclipses, you can feel them a little early. Now, the eclipse isn't until late Friday night, the 3rd, early Saturday morning, the 4th, in Libra at 14 degrees right here. But you start your Friday morning, you feel organized. You know, here's a nice sextile to Saturn. Happens early in the morning, 2-4 o'clock in the morning. Oh, now I got a plan, okay. But the day changes quickly. Here's an opposition to Mercury. Can't communicate. That happens towards lunchtime. And here's the Sun opposed. And Pluto. First, I can't do what I want. Oh no. Then Pluto comes in real late Friday night. Eek, a bug. And then Uranus comes in early Saturday morning. I'm isolated. Nobody will let me be free. And the heck with those homeless people. We don't care about Uranus, the environment, or, you know, I saw this article that Obama said everybody wants him to fix the drug war and legalize marijuana. They should be thinking about global warming, he said. Now, you're wrong, President. Yeah, first fix the person, then you can fix the society. Anyway, it's your glitch time. It's Friday night the 3rd, Saturday morning the 4th. You're waking up on an eclipse. Eclipses kill things, especially the feminine side. This is an eclipse of the moon. We're all going to see it, North and South America and in Asia and across the Pacific and in Hawaii. You'll see the moon become eclipsed. It doesn't go out, it just turns really dark and weird. I would not watch it. The Chinese astrologers, excuse me, I wasn't looking at the screen. Old Chinese astrologers, and boy, they were good. They knew their stuff. Say, you know, sleep through it. I mean, don't look at it. Don't let the light fall on you. Eclipses are evil, okay? So if anybody says, oh, let's all go out and watch the eclipse, screw that. Have a couple beers, watch a movie. Don't look out the window. Sleep late Saturday morning. Try to ignore it all. Won't be easy. There'll be noise. There'll be glitches. There'll be weird stuff. There'll be some truth. Let's see. Here's Jupiter. That little blue mark comes up about 9, 10 o'clock Friday night. The sextile to Jupiter, and there'll be some truth and wisdom in the middle of this chaos. But you're not likely to get anything done. The North Node is there just before dinner, and it feels like everybody's getting nurturing a little. It wants to nurture, but, you know, there's a lot of nasty stuff going on here. So wait it out and see how it affects your chart and those around you before you get up and start rushing around. So Saturday you're going to still feel a lot of the same emphasis from the eclipse. And, you know, I won't even work on this time, you know, because I know eclipses. You want to get rid of something, whatever comes to mind Friday or Saturday morning, you can get rid of it. Could be a bad habit. Could be, you know, something that smells bad. Whatever it is, you know, eclipses get rid of things. Time to clean house. Change something. And that's the way it is, as the moon goes through Libra Friday and Saturday. On Sunday, it's still in Libra until you get almost to lunch, and then it changes into Scorpio and the vibes change. Sunday afternoon, there's an opposition to Mars, and people don't like young folks and aggression and anger, and everybody's a little pissy and ticked off, but they're still, you know, not getting the job done. They're wasting their energy in anger. Yeah. It gets kind of spiritual Sunday night, late. That's about 10, 11, 12 o'clock. We have a nice sextile to Neptune. Read Jesus. As ye father, so shall ye be fathered. As ye mother, so shall ye be mothered. Some of the best wisdom I learned from those guys, the sun and the moon. Monday morning, moon's in Scorpio on the 6th. It squares Jupiter. We tend to overdo things and trying to take on too much and do too much Monday morning. Restrain yourself. When power and control comes up, though, here's a sextile to Pluto. This is afternoon time. This is in the afternoon. And you can handle some of this Pluto stuff. Sharks, volcanoes, eek. So information is the key, huh? And you get a little control over it. You want to make some changes. This is a good time to do it on the 6th. Tuesday, the moon's still in Scorpio on the 7th. Around noontime here, there's an opposition to Venus, and so we don't want the sweets and we don't want the perfume, and we're not thinking of pleasure. And if you do, you'll get stuck in it, and you won't like it. It only gets more restrictive as you go through Tuesday. And the late Tuesday night, actually Wednesday morning, you're in the Saturn zone, huh? It's going to get cold again. Restrictions, guys in dark suits. The judge. Yeah, judge not lest ye be judged. Huh? You remember that Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. There's a square to Neptune, and priest-artist doctors and liquids and fuels and the ocean all take hits here a bit on Wednesday. Restrictions on those things, huh? They're talking about fixing the fish industry, which is, you know, famous for its philanderings. You don't know what you're buying. I'm going to try to fix that. Good luck. It's like trying to fix the church. You do get some headway. Somehow, here comes Jupiter. After the period of restriction Wednesday morning, confusion in the middle of Wednesday, in the afternoon and evening, wisdom hits. Here's a trine to Jupiter. Lightning bolts of truth Wednesday night. A trine to Uranus. Suddenly, high-tech stuff. Yeah, astrology works. What does that mean? Thursday morning, you're still feeling good. Moon's still in Sagittarius. And there's a nice Mercury trine and a nice Sun trine. We got our plan. We're moving. Everything's communicating. Things are fine. Friday, April 10th. Well, the moon's in Capricorn. You're in the Pluto zone. It starts with nice trines to Mars and sextiles to Neptune. Inspired action. Fix things. Whatever you think is a weak place out there in the home or the yard, get out there and fix it. You can do stuff like that in the middle of Friday. But the feeling of impending disaster is there. And the further you go towards Friday into Saturday morning, eek, a bug, panic, sudden changes, blocks everything. I can't do any of the things I wanted because there's a shark in the water, or there's alarm bells and sirens and the anarchists. What, anarchists? Oh no, they're Nazis. No, they're bombers. No, they're civil rights dudes. No, they're tree huggers. No, they're Islamic fundamentalist extremists. Demonize it. Pluto's always, whatever the American culture is demonizing at the time, is going to show up Saturday morning for you all over the news. You'll probably be stuck with it and be watching the TV all day Saturday, feeling a little alone, huh? Not so hot for the 11th. On Sunday, April 12th, things don't get better until the moon shifts into Aquarius, which is about breakfast time. Sleep late Sunday, because here's Venus. Aha, I got a trine to Venus. Sleep real late Sunday. Stay in bed. Here's a nice sextile to Saturn. Responsible pleasure. Yeah, Sunday morning. Sunday night here, this is 10, 11 o'clock, so there's a square to Mars. You start to get impatient and angry. And Monday morning, the 13th, we're going to overdo it. The moon's opposing Jupiter. It's kind of like that. Wow. Okay, I want to make things real clear now. Let's talk about this a little more. Let's see, I'm having to do this show early, so I'm just a few days past the Saturn station. And what I can report to you so far is, for some unknown reason, the USA government is closed a lot of embassies over from Saudi Arabia to Yemen to, all those embassies in the troublesome parts of the world got closed. And they're not talking about why they're doing this. Obviously, Saturn scared the hell out of them, and it's not in the news yet. We don't know exactly what it is. Is it Russia? It's Saturn? No. Is it? We don't know what the heck is going on, except people got scared, and they closed a lot of embassies. And obviously, we had some threats. We'll learn more as time goes on about this Saturn station. But I want to get back to the Uranus-Pluto square. There it is. The sun setting off Uranus. They want to be free. Cop standing in the way with his gun. What happens? Well, this eclipse is going to set it off. This eclipse. And it means that there's some ladies and some people are going to bite the dust. There's going to be more killing. Sorry. And maybe pretty ladies too. The moon's in Libra when it eclipses. Anyway, it squares Pluto, and Pluto's going to get blamed. If I were a policeman, I'd leave my gun at home. Seriously. Well, they're having trouble with the tasers. And they taser him once, twice, 3 times, and then 5 minutes later the guy dies. What's going on? So Pluto is going to act up, and it's going to be around the 17th is the peak of the activity when Pluto acts up. He stands up on the stage. These are actors on the stage of your life, these planets. So Pluto's going to act up. And it's, you know, it's one of these normal distribution curves. So it's going to be like that. Here's the date when it's strongest on the 17th, but you're going to feel it 2 weeks ahead, and there's little peaks and valleys with it, and it's going to go on for a whole month until July, or till June 3rd, when we get finally another full moon. Put the emphasis someplace else in Scorpio. So you got a whole month of this, and it'll, once a week it'll happen. Basically on the weekends we're learning, yeah, bad Saturdays again. I mean, when it acts up, it's panicky. Volcanoes go off on the outside world, and it's panicky on the inside. That's what makes the sharks bite. So, kind of a strange month you're going into. You know, there's so much neat wisdom and such wonderful stuff here. There might be a celebration because the environmentalist finally wins something. But look out, Pluto's lurking back there in the background. And, you know, Jupiter's going to be here real strong the first part of April. The middle of April, Pluto's going to take over and eek, a bug. My God, what an ugly building. Sometimes I'm amazed. In Hawaii, politicians get elected and think they're God. And we like to burn the trash. Okay, here's a beauty. The house, this is the State House, approved another $55 million for the Kona Judiciary Complex. Now this is a horrible mess. It's ugly. It's expensive. Turns out they already appropriated $9 million, and then $26 million, and $55 million will get it going for a total of $90 million for this amazing complex. Now the one they're using now is a little crowded, but it's usable. It could be expanded, repaired, you know, for $1 million or $2 million, easy, and you'd save all this money. I begin to think, how much is $90 million to expand? What this is the other end of this horrible jail industry we have in this country. Smoking pot, put him in jail, make lots of money off him. Well, hopefully this is going to stop, and you'll stop putting people in jail for things that aren't violent crimes. And maybe you won't need this, but it's been growing in leaps and bounds. You know, every year we put more people in jail for smoking pot. And somebody's making money off of this. There's all these people, you know, who are, oh, you're on probation, come and see us. And, oh, we got to test your urine. Oh, can't find a job. Oh. So they take people, arrest them, ruin their chances of finding a decent job the rest of their life. And this is where Saturn lives, the judge. And they take you up there and judge you and take all your money, put you in jail. This is not a happy place. I can't see any reason why we should be spending $90 million on this. Now, this is the state. And I'm sure the local politicians say, oh, it'll just give us jobs. Where's the $90 million come from? Well, there's, you know, 200,000 people here on this island. If we are all paying for this, just the people on the Big Island, because this judiciary complex is for the Kona, half of the Big Island. Everybody in the Big Island has to pay $450 to buy this building so that we can have more, the judges and the lawyers can be more comfortable and be air conditioned and blah, blah, blah. This is, that came out of the state, huh? Somebody's getting paid off here. We don't want to grow larger prisons and bigger courtrooms. No, we want to make them smaller because we don't want people in jails and in court. This is a very hurtful industry. But somebody, a legislative people over there, decided to give this money. They're taking it out of your pocket, and they're going to give it to the judge and the lawyers to build this monstrosity, this ugly, ugly building where people get judged. Ugh. If I had any choice, I wouldn't give them $450 of my dollars for this ugly thing. I'd give them $10 to repair the one they got and make it smaller. Now, this is a live show. I got to share this with you. 5 minutes ago, two sweet young girls, both carrying babies, showed up on my doorstep and gave me this pamphlet. Jehovah's Witnesses, huh? The very people think astrology is the demon's work. Okay, attend what? Turns out they're all doing a ceremony, they say, all over the world. The ceremony is set. They're going to celebrate Jesus' death April 3rd, Friday after sundown. That's the lunar eclipse. They should be concerned with the fact that all of these religions, the Muslims, the Jews, the Christians, they killed Mother Mary. You don't have any concern about the Mother God, do you? Anyway, this is, I don't know, maybe celebrating somebody's death on a lunar eclipse is okay. I wouldn't. The other thing is here, they've got another celebration that's going on here, April 12th. Well, these guys would burn me at the stake if they had their way, but I would not go to this event on April 3rd, Friday night, on an eclipse. I wouldn't go out on the road. This is a little different. April 12th, Sunday, is very close to where Jupiter stations on the 7th or 8th or something, and trines Uranus, so there could be a lot of wisdom here. I note the moon's in Aquarius. There could be unusual wisdoms. This could be kind of sweet. You could learn some non-traditional stuff here on April 12th. But then, you know, these guys would never accept an astrologer's advice. And as far as I'm concerned, if your religion comes from the roots of Abraham, which are, you know, Jewish, Muslim, Christian, you guys have been in 2,000 years of confusion, and you have definitely downed the mother. Mother Mary statues all over, but no, the moon isn't important. No, not important. I usually take the Jehovah's Witness in and explain the three wise men were astrologers, and I try to give them a little bit of Uranus science of religion, but sometimes I lose patience, especially with those three King David religions and what they've done to the moon, the mother. And listen, if you really want to meet the Father, here's the key. The Mayans knew about it, and there are times that are much better than others. Yep, when the sun is absolutely overhead and casts no shadow on the ground, Father will is more accessible. The Mayans and Aztecs were all doing this ceremony a lot. And when the Pope heard about it, they all thought he'd outlaw another pagan ceremony, but he didn't. He had eyewitnesses. They said, this is great. If you're in Hilo or Kona, May 18th, 12:30, just 30 minutes after noon, Father comes. Try it out.